The Vatican on edge, the dance of the cardinals and whispers of a new pope. In the Eternal City, where the bells of St. Peter's echo with the weight of centuries, the Catholic world holds its breath. Following the passing of Pope Francis on April 21, 2025, at the age of 88, the Vatican is gearing up for a historic conclave set to begin on May 7th in the majestic Sistine Chapel. With 135 cardinal electors from 71 countries, this will be the largest and most diverse conclave in history, a reflection of the global revolution Francis brought to the College of Cardinals. But who will be the next Vicar of Christ? The rumors are buzzing like bees in a hive, and the names of the Papabili, those cardinals with a whiff of the tiara, are already on everyone's lips. Join us on this journey through the Vatican's corridors, where intrigue and faith go hand in hand with a mischievous wink. A record-breaking conclave full of secrets. The 2025 conclave is no ordinary gathering of men in red. With 108 of the 135 electors appointed by Francis, the scales seem tipped toward a successor who will carry forward his legacy of openness, social justice, and focus on the margins. Yet, as the Vatican's saying goes, he who enters the conclave as Pope leaves as a cardinal. The diversity of the group, 40% European, 18% Asian, 18% Latin American, and 12% African, makes predicting the outcome as tricky as betting on a snail race. The cardinals, all under 80, will be locked in the Sistine Chapel, surrounded by Michelangelo's frescoes, voting in daily rounds until one secures 2/3 of the votes, 90 if all are present. Each vote will end with the classic smoke: black for no decision, white for habemus papam. Meanwhile, at the Domus Sanctae Marthae, where the cardinals are staying, signal jammers and opaque window films have been installed to ensure secrecy. Not a single WhatsApp message will sneak through this sacred drama. The Papabili, a parade of ecclesiastical stars. The Vaticanisti, those bloodhounds of the cassock, have dusted off their lists of favorites, and the betting, quite literally, with platforms like Polymarket and Kalshi already buzzing, is on fire. Here's a rundown of the cardinals making faithful hearts race, spiced up with a dash of cheekiness. Pietro Parolin, Italy 70, the golden diplomat. As Vatican Secretary of State since 2013, Parolin is the frontrunner with 28 to 31% in the betting odds. Moderate, shrewd, and experienced in navigating deals from China to Cuba, he's seen as a continuity candidate who'd keep Francis's spirit alive without ruffling feathers. But beware, his role in the China bishop deal has earned him some foes. Will he be the man to unite the church or stumble in curial intrigues? Luis Antonio Tagle, Philippines 67. The Asian rock star, former Archbishop of Manila, Tagle is charismatic, progressive, and a media darling, with 22 to 24% in the predictions. His election would be historic, the first Asian pope, representing a region where Catholicism is booming. Critical of the church's harshness toward the marginalized, his pastoral style echoes Francis. But whispers suggest his media popularity doesn't translate to votes among cardinals. Can this Filipino dance his way to Peter's throne? Pierbattista Pizzaballa, Italy 60. The brave soul of the Holy Land. As Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Pizzaballa has faced crises in Gaza and even offered himself in exchange for hostages in 2023. Young and pastoral, his meteoric rise puts him at 8% in the odds. He's an outsider who could surprise, but his lack of curia experience might be a hurdle. Will this Italian be the breath of fresh air the church needs? Matteo Zuppi, Italy 69. The street priest, Archbishop of Bologna and president of the Italian bishops, Zuppi is a progressive who's mediated conflicts from Ukraine to Gaza. With 11% in the odds, his humble style and support for the poor align him with Francis. But can this neighborhood priest sway the more traditional cardinals? Peter Erdo, Hungary 72. The guardian of tradition. Conservative and respected, Erdo is a choice for those seeking a shift toward orthodoxy. With 10% in the odds, his experience in Hungary and firm stances on issues like family and migration make him appealing to the right wing. However, his profile could polarize liberal electors. Will this Hungarian bring order to the house? Peter Turkson, Ghana 76. The African pioneer. With 10% in the odds, Turkson could be the first Black pope in centuries. Vocal on issues like climate change and economic justice, He's softened his stance on homosexuality, but remains doctrinally conservative. His charisma and Vatican experience make him a serious contender, though some criticize his alleged media campaign. Will this Ghanaian make history? Fridolin Ambongo, DR Congo, 65, the voice of Africa. With 5% in the odds, Ambongo represents the explosive growth of Catholicism in Africa. Culturally conservative, he led opposition to same-sex couple blessings, earning allies among traditionalists. Yet his firmness might alienate moderates. Is this Congolese cardinal the future of a global church? Robert Serra, Guinea, 79. The ultra-Orthodox, though not a top contender, 4% in the odds. Serra is the darling of traditionalists. A critic of Francis's reforms, especially on issues like homosexuality, his election would be a conservative earthquake, but his age and radical views might limit his chances. A last hurrah for the purists? A church at a crossroads. The next pope will inherit a church at a pivotal moment, waning influence in Europe and North America, but soaring in the global south. Issues like handling abuse cases, inclusion of the LGBT+ community, women's ordination as deacons, and priestly celibacy will be on the table. The cardinals must decide whether to follow Francis's pastoral path or veer toward a more traditional approach. Pre-conclave discussions, known as general congregations, are already underway. On April 30th, 180 cardinals, 124 electors, debated Vatican finances in an atmosphere described as fraternal and cordial by Cardinal Rainer Welke. But don't be fooled. Behind the smiles, progressive and conservative factions are sharpening their strategies. A dash of intrigue. It's not all prayer and reflection. Controversy has already splashed the conclave with the case of Cardinal Giovanni Angelo Becciu, convicted of embezzlement in 2023. Though he claimed he could participate, 2 letters from Francis, 2023 and March 2025, explicitly exclude him, putting an end to the soap opera. Then there's the betting, a tradition as old as conclaves themselves. Platforms like Polymarket and Kalshi report a frenzy of predictions, with Parolin and Tagle leading the pack. Even Italian tabloids ever ready for gossip are speculating about outsiders like Spain's Juan José Omela or France's Jean-Marc Aveline. What's next? As the cardinals prepare to be sequestered, the world awaits the white smoke and those magic words, Habemus Papam. Will it be an Italian like Parolin returning the tiara to Rome? An Asian like Tagle marking a milestone for the continent? Or perhaps an African like Turkson or Ambongo leading the church to the heart of Catholic growth? One thing's certain, in this conclave, surprises are just around the corner, and the Holy Spirit, with a cheeky wink, has the final say. So, dear readers, keep your eyes on the Vatican skies and your ears tuned to the rumors. Because in Rome, where faith and intrigue intertwine, the next pope is about to step onto the balcony and the whole world will be watching. Let the show begin!